The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. Okay, so I got a video from Adam sent to me this week. And it was, who was this guy? He was a Chelsea fan? No, a Chelsea...
Yeah, he runs a podcast. It's like a fan cast thing. He runs his own podcast. He's just avid Chelsea fan, just talking about the troubles that we're dealing with right now.
I play it for you. It's a little salty. I think there's some language that maybe isn't appropriate for our wholesome all-American show here. But the tagline, why don't you tell everybody the tagline?
Well, basically, Super Frank is back, but it's still the same old garbage. So that's what we're dealing with. Exactly. Okay. And he talks so fast. That's the great thing. He covers the whole plethora of the history of Chelsea in 2 minutes. That's what's great about it.
He does. So go out there and look for that. But in the meantime, it's time for Free Kicks right here.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
So what a weekend for football/soccer. We've got a big week coming up with Champions League. We'll get into that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about what's happening on the pitch.
Premier League football. What's happening on the pitch?
And is there a title race now? Did that come out of nowhere? It looks like anytime Arsenal drops any points at all, instantly it becomes a title race. And this past weekend, they did lose dropped 2 points to Liverpool by having a draw. And I don't know if you saw that game.
I did not see it, but I saw extensive clips because it was great, and I was following it. It was on Easter Sunday,
right?
So as I was sitting there in church watching the game, that was great. My wife was appreciative of that, but I'm like, it's one of those things.
Well, I mean, I think the Lord gave us the best game of the week. It was unbelievable. Arsenal, Liverpool at Anfield, and a couple of huge storylines. First of all, I think there were 10 or 11 yellow cards in that game. I kept waiting for the first red to flop out. It was a hard-fought game. And right around halftime, there was an incident with Andy Robertson and the sideline coach or sideline referee.
Assistant referee.
The
assistant referee. Yeah.
And you couldn't see this on TV, but apparently the assistant referee elbowed Andy Robertson in the face.
Yeah, really a strange incident. Very strange. So Robertson came up to the assistant referee, and this is another discussion point. All these players just bombarded the referees. It's just getting out of control.
Right.
But that being said, and there was video clips there. And I know the NBC talked a little bit about it afterwards. That it seemingly just kind of threw an elbow.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. So the referee is Konstantin Hatzidakis, and since then he has basically been put on leave, temporary leave, I guess you could say. For the rest of the season as they continue to investigate this situation. But very strange. And they actually came out with a comment during the game, so it was serious.
Yeah, I must have missed that. But the whole idea of the referee fighting back like that, although, I sometimes wonder how they don't do it all the time. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah, I can understand that because the referee's job is not easy. Being a referee myself, fully qualified, I can certainly have sympathy. But then again, you can't be throwing anything. I mean, it's a red card to the assistant referee, right? So I mean, have you ever seen that before? I've never seen it. So
no.
he should have got sent off.
He should have.
If VAR was doing its job,
right.
And the game, even though it's halftime, you can still get a red card at halftime. You get a red card at the end of the game. That can still be happening.
They always have an extra referee there.
Yeah. So what did the VAR not? He wasn't working that time.
Yeah.
So he's not. So I guess the new job of the referees is to watch the referees. So
just add another duty onto their long list of duties. All right. Well, that being set aside, the supercomputer now that they use over at 538 is predicting that Man City's going to come back and win this title. So what are your thoughts about that? I mean, they're still, I think, what are they, 6 points behind?
Yeah, so they're 6 points behind.
Yeah,
they have, and it's set up perfectly, right? 6 points behind, one game in hand, so they win that game in hand, and then of course they have to play each other. So looking at that run-in, and I think that game is set for the 26th of April, so that's definitely something we're all going to need to watch.
Yeah,
if they win that game, they're tied on points, and then it goes down to obviously goal differential. And you know who has the better goal differential? That's Manchester City. So yeah, we officially have a title race.
Yeah, I mean it's not even a stretch to say that, because you know they're going to win their game in hand. Although as soon as I say that on the podcast, it doesn't happen. But and then you're right, it's all about that game on the 26th. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
So having watched Arsenal, Liverpool, you know, I'm a Liverpool fanatic. Watching Liverpool, I never miss them unless they're on at 6:30 here. But Arsenal, their goalie, their keeper, Ramsdale, he is underrated. He is one of the best keepers in the league, and in that game, he saved the game for them.
No question. He was absolutely on fire. You know, there was the missed penalty, which obviously was a big one, but you could definitely say that he had at least a hand in putting him off, right? I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But made some fantastic saves as the game went on. Sorry, I got people calling me. It's crazy. Sorry, this is the beauty of it. So this is unbelievable. Sorry about that.
So,
but yeah, it was really, really good. I mean, he played fantastically well, and you can definitely see why he was, you know, he's highly regarded in terms of making a difference, because I think last year that was probably a big difference in that Arsenal team. They just didn't have a consistent goalkeeper, and he's definitely been able to add that. That's for sure.
He has. And I recommend you go back and check out the video clips from that game.
Yeah. The Salah save was fantastic. Konate as well was another save that he made. And you could probably argue Arsenal were happy with the point.
Yeah,
because Liverpool in the second half were the better team, no question.
Yeah, you know, it's so frustrating as a Liverpool fan to watch games like that because, you know, they have so much talent and firepower, and there they sit in, what is it, 8th place right now with very little chance of making it into the final.
And I really do think Trent Alexander-Arnold should play as a midfielder.
Yeah.
Don't even put him in the back, because he looks good, so good playing moving forward, but gosh, he's awful as a defender. There's no question. So just put him in the midfield.
Yeah,
you know, he does fine there. He's really pretty good.
All right, that's a free tip. That's a free tip from us to you.
Yeah. Come on, Trent.
Jurgen.
Yeah, go talk to Jurgen. Have a chat with him. Just say you want to play as the 10. Play as the center midfielder, and you'll be all right.
All right, let's talk about the other big return to the Premier League this week, and that is the thing we talked about at the top, Frank Lampard. Last week we were discussing who they're going to bring in, and you know, it kind of makes sense to bring in Frank Lampard. He knows this team, at least he knows a lot of the players. He's comfortable at Chelsea. He's bound to bring in a big bounce. He'll come in, the team will rally around him. They'll win a big game, and that just didn't work out.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. It's the same old story. I mean, unfortunately, that's exactly it. I mean, that's what the news, all the news articles are saying. Same old story for the Blues. As you know, they haven't scored in the 12th game this season. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think they've won like 4 games out of the last 20. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just not good enough for what the team they have, the players that they've spent. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, that being said, the goal that Wolves scored to win it, unbelievable. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did.
Nunes. I mean, it was like, it reminded me of Marco van Basten back in the day in the European Championships when he scored that ridiculous goal in the corner.
Yeah.
And he did this. It was a fantastic strike. I mean, Aretha Balaga had no chance to save it.
Yeah.
Absolutely no chance. And then our old buddy, Mr. Diego Costa, almost scored as well. Against his old team, he can't do that.
He looked pretty good, actually.
He did.
I watched that game. He looked fast. I don't remember him being fast. Or is Chelsea just not going back on defense anymore?
I guess it's a little bit of both. If he's looking fast, that's not a good sign for Chelsea, right?
No, it really is not.
So, and he almost should. He probably should have scored. Actually, Kappa made a good save, but yeah. We've got some things to figure out. Obviously, massive game this week, as we'll talk about. But we've got one chance. We've got to win the Champions League.
Yeah, and I think that's what Frank is going to be concentrating on too.
Yeah.
All right, so firmly entrenched in 11th place. The season is essentially over for Chelsea in the Premier League. So you got to put all your apples in the Champions League. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's take a look at who is still in it, and this one is kind of a shocker. So who's in 6th place right now?
I know. I knew you were going to say this. Gosh,
I'm sorry.
Unbelievable. Just remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about how Chelsea just popped ahead of Aston Villa on goal difference. Now they're 8 points behind them.
I know.
Crazy.
Now, is that because Aston Villa is on fire right now, or because Chelsea is not?
I think Aston Villa's obviously figuring things out. Ollie Watkins scoring goals. They've got a goal scorer. That makes a huge difference. They're finding ways to score goals. They're a team in form. There's no question about it. Give them a massive amount of credit. Won 4 of their last 5, and they drew. So they're probably as in form as anybody else in this league. And that's they're doing great. Can't blame them. I mean, they come in, they changed the manager, sorted things out.
That's what I was going to ask. Are we crediting this to Emery, who came in here from where was he? He was in Spain, I think, right?
Yes, I think he was back in Villarreal or Valencia. I think he was out there. Yeah, absolutely. You got to credit him. I mean, because they were struggling near the bottom when Gerrard was there.
Yeah.
So I think there's no question in my mind he's been the big difference. He's done a fantastic job organizing the team, organizing everything about that group, scoring goals. They're now in the plus goal differential. Great stuff from Villa.
Yeah.
Give them a lot of credit. Definitely worth a watch. Oh, there's a little teaser. Definitely worth a watch.
They actually have a chance of playing in European football this next year. So
yeah, they're right now. They're in Europa League places.
Right.
So there's no question about it. So yeah, and there might be a stretch to be in the top 4, but they could definitely play in the Europa League for sure.
Right. All right, let's talk about the relegation zone because that's gotten it's as interesting as it has been in the last few weeks. Right now, as we record this, we have Nottingham Forest back in the relegation zone along with Southampton and Leicester. I really think that Southampton and Leicester are goners.
Yeah. I honestly think when you look at current form, I could predict now this might be the bottom 3 that goes down.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think Southampton and Leicester really struggling now. I don't know if you saw Leicester City did appoint a new manager.
Yeah.
Obviously, they fired Brendan Rodgers, one of the 13 managers that have been fired this year. Amazing. Chelsea's got 2 of them, by the way. But Dean Smith, formerly of Norwich, formerly of Aston Villa, formerly of any team that's kind of done poorly, has now gone in to be the manager at Leicester City to try to kind of bump them up. But when I look at the three teams and I look at their past performances over the last 5 games, there's not a win amongst those three. Right. So that tells you everything about where they're at. Their goal differential is terrible. Nottingham Forest is awful. Southampton's terrible. Leicester City's not quite so bad, but hopefully they get that new manager bump. But it's definitely looking rough for them.
Yeah, well, Everton is still down there. I mean, they're tied in points, and Leeds just got crushed by Crystal Palace last weekend.
That's true.
They're not looking so great either. Those are the only 2 teams, though, I think that I would put in that same category. Although I think they're heading like they could, stay afloat.
Yeah, and at least I think Nottingham Forest have shown a little bit where they've had some success. But this is the beauty of the league, right? We predictions are so difficult, and this is what makes it so great with this table. Like when you look at it, like you said, you've got West Ham at 30 and Nottingham Forest in the bottom 3 at 27. It could change weekly. So that's the amazing thing about it.
Yeah, and a big win for Wolves. It looks like they're kind of safe. Like Crystal Palace had a big win, as I mentioned. So, some of these teams are starting to, pick up a win here and there. Every win at this point of the season is just gigantic.
Yeah.
3 points.
And there's definitely a break from Crystal Palace down. There's a 6-point gap to Chelsea.
Right.
Who's to say? If Chelsea doesn't figure things out, they might get dragged in.
I don't think so.
I know, but it's that point. I mean, they've lost 11 games. You're down there with all of the others. Now they have won 10, but there's Crystal Palace and 13. I mean, but look at Leicester City and Southampton, like we said, 19 losses.
Yeah.
Tells you a lot about where they're at.
Well, watching that Liverpool-Arsenal game this past weekend and seeing how close those teams are in terms of talent and skill and everything, and then seeing that Arsenal's like 30 points ahead. I mean, 30 points. It's just like, wow, Liverpool sucked this year.
Yeah, they really have. Consistency's been a problem. You're right.
All right, let's talk about the Champions League because there's some big games coming up this week. You mentioned Chelsea, Real Madrid. That's really, they've got all their eggs in that basket at this point, don't they?
I think so. This is the game for them that they can, by winning the Champions League, they can move forward and then qualify to play in it again next year. Obviously, they're not going to be in the top 4. So I think that's really where they're looking at. Looking at the quarterfinals, I mean, there's some great matchups. I think today we taping it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this game. It's going to be a really good one. Manchester City versus Bayern Munich. That's going to be awesome. There's so much history between Pep being at Bayern Munich, Manchester City sending some players over to Bayern Munich. It's going to be
right. Sané really is on Bayern Munich. He was on Manchester City just a few years ago.
That's right. Canseco as well. Canseco went over there too. Yeah, so a lot of history between the two teams. So I think that's what's going to make it. But my goodness, Manchester City looks good as well, though.
Yeah.
Great game. Should be a lot of fun. And Bayern Munich, got Thomas Tuchel in charge.
Right.
Hopefully he can move it forward.
All right. So we'll have a longer discussion about that next week. We'll do a whole Champions League thing because we should have the results by the end of next week. So we'll do a later taping next week. But
lots of good games, though.
Games are Real Madrid, Chelsea, Benfica against Inter, Man City, Bayern, and AC Milan versus Napoli. All right. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation, official state association and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, U.S. Youth Soccer, and administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, the Olympic Development Program, and U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org.
Okay. And they're keeping you busy these days.
Yes, for sure.
All right. It's time for another feature.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
Okay. I decided last week's was too easy, so this week's is going to be difficult. Just warning. Okay. All right, this week's Premier League star is 28 years old. Who is it? Wrong. He's playing in his second country. The other one, though, is still technically within the UK. Right, but it's not the Premier League.
Okay. So he probably played in Scotland for a bit, would you say?
Could be.
Okay, gotcha.
He's a midfielder.
Okay.
2 of his brothers are also professional footballers in the UK, but not in the Premier League. He wears number 7. He plays for his national team, which is not England.
Interesting.
And one of his teammates on the national team is Andy Robertson from Liverpool.
So one of his current teammates
on the national team.
On the national team. Okay, gotcha. Not on his club team.
No.
Gotcha.
Just telling you what national team he's on, basically.
Okay. All right. So he's a Scottish national team player.
Yes, he is.
I'm trying to think of...
He's the captain of his Premier League club.
Interesting. Number 7, Scottish player.
Yep. His team wears claret and blue.
Okay, yeah, of course it is. Yes. So he's got to be one of those players who is currently playing on the team that we love to hate due to our fan base. And he scored the winner, or scored one of, I guess you could class it winner, as it was the first goal against Chelsea last week. Would that be fair to say?
It would be fair to say, yes.
Okay. So, and he's having a pretty decent season.
He is.
Played for, I think he was at Norwich, was he at Norwich? No, it wasn't at Norwich.
Nope.
I think he played for Hibernian, something like that, maybe?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So it is Mr. John McGinn.
That's correct. The last clue would have given it away. The last clue is the mayor of Seattle between 2010 and 2013 had the same last name.
Got it, yeah. I remember that, man. Yeah, he was always in the news. Always in the
totally
news.
Giving it away. But yes, John McGinn. And he's actually quite good. I've been watching Aston Villa a few times. And as you mentioned, that goal that he scored was just amazing.
Yeah, he's definitely having a good season. Interesting that he is Villa's captain, because I know they went through a few captains over the previously, and it seems like he's definitely been able to kind of get everybody on the same page at least. So I think he's definitely helped influence that club for sure.
Okay, it's time for this.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
Okay, now we've got Champions League, obviously, but we also have some big Premier League games coming up. Tell us what we should not miss.
Yeah, there's some really good ones coming up. When you look at this weekend, so we go through till Monday. There's a Monday game, the Leeds-Liverpool game. I think it's definitely going to be a game to definitely watch. And it might be a final nail in the coffin potentially for Leicester City, because they're playing Manchester City, because they've got to get a result. We'll see if Dean Smith can figure it out. But I'm afraid, Rick, you're going to have to get up early to watch this one.
Oh, no.
These are the two informed teams. And as much as it's tough for me to get up and watch this game, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Aston Villa, the Clarets, against another informed team who've won their last 5 games, Newcastle United.
Ooh.
I think it's actually going to be a really good game. I think these are two informed teams. Newcastle, I mean, they are pushing hard for top 4 right now. They're in 3rd spot. Obviously, they're tied with Man United. I mean, they could definitely be in the Champions League next year. Okay. So this is going to be a really big game. It's obviously could boost Aston Villa to consolidate their Europa League spot. I think it's going to be a really good one. Both teams in form. Aston Villa's won 4 of their last 5. Newcastle 5 out of their last 5. That's the game you want to watch.
What
6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. Come on, Rick, you can do it. I'll give you a call to wake you up.
I don't think so.
Wake up call for Rick. Wake up call.
Well, you know what makes me happy about that? Our friend Todd Schneider, who's a big Aston Villa fan.
Oh yeah,
it's 4:30 for him.
That's even better. That's why we're going to torment. I will make sure we'll start that group chat going early at 6:30. Oh, this is a great game. How's everything going out there on the West Coast? Exactly right.
Well, hey, Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. 67 years of soccer excellence. Green White provides a great travel soccer program for kids of all ages, led by former World Cup player and coach Mustafa Edders. Go to greenwhitesoccer.org. I think they have details on the website about their upcoming tryouts for next season. So we have people to thank. A special thanks to our executive producer, Tony Lasano with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards, OPPIH shows.com. We're distributed by Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week. We'll do a thorough examination of the Champions League on the next edition of Free Kicks.
The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?